All right, everyone. How's it going? My name is Zach Rose. I'm the Director of Technical Services here at Interpro Solutions. So we've got about 15 minutes to give a quick demo. I want to give you a brief overview of what the UI looks like through a really basic use case. The use case will just be logging in, finding work that's assigned to you, and specifically that work will have an inspection form tied to it. So we'll log in, find the work that's assigned to us, use a barcode scan to filter it down, jump into the work order, maybe add some labor hours, run through an inspection form, and ultimately close out that work order. Yeah, so let me go ahead and share my iPad. All right, you should all be able to see my screen now. So I've got my iPad here in front of me. You can see the EZMaxMobile app icon in the upper left. As I've mentioned before in other presentations, our software is device agnostic and platform agnostic. So iOS, Android, Windows, iPad, or tablet size, phone size, doesn't matter. Our software and UI are responsive and dynamic. So it's always reformatting and refactoring based on the actual device and form factor that the user has. The apps are available as free app downloads in all the app stores, but you can also distribute the app through mobile device management software for larger deployments like 50, 100, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 people. MDM software is really helpful for those sorts of deployments. So I'm going to log in. You're brought to your login. Once you launch the app, you're brought to your login screen. You can log in with biometrics, but ultimately it's taking in a Maximo username and password. We work with all the same authentication protocols that core Maximo does. So LDAP, any flavor of SSO, or standard Maximo auth, it doesn't really matter. But once you've logged in, you're going to see your Start Center screen. So this comes dynamically from Maximo. So as the user logs in, we know who they are. We know the security groups, the profile, the roles that they belong to. And we're able to deliver those Maximo-based start centers directly to mobile. As you change them in Maximo, they're automatically going to change and be reflected here. You can also create mobile-specific start centers if you wanted or weren't using Maximo-based start centers today. But we support all the or most of the standard start center components. Like as you can see here, we've got this card-based layout where we're showing a bulletin board or inbox assignments for workflow assignments, and then we've got the result sets grouped by the application they belong to. So there's a handful of result sets related to work order tracking and assets, etc. So the other component I want to call out here from a UI perspective that's important to note is the go-to menu in the upper right. That go-to menu serves as your main navigational tool throughout the app. So if you're trying to jump from one module to another, or you're deep within a work order or an asset and you want to jump back to the Start Center, you'll use the go-to menu to do that. The go-to menu here works the same as Maximo's go-to menu. It's going to show you all the same modules that your user has access to in the system that EZMaxMobile supports out of the box. We support over 25 of the modules of the base modules of Maximo right out of the box, and we're able to mobilize any cloned apps or any other apps outside of the modules that we've already got mobilized. I'm logged in as a power user, so I'll just show you really quickly what that go-to menu looks like. So it's going to show me everything, all the modules that we support that I have access to, everything from item master, assets, locations, inventory, usage, issues, transfers, PRs, POs, receiving, inspections, work orders. There's a lot here. If I'm logged in as a technician who only has access to work order tracking, that's the only module I'm going to see in this list. So it's always taking into account who the user is when they're logged in, what they have access to in the sense of modules, actions, and data. So if you have data restrictions or modules that only has read-only access or no access at all, EZMaxMobile automatically takes into account all those security settings that you've already got set up in Core Maximo. All right, so the use case that I'm walking through here is looking through a list of work orders that are assigned to me, finding the specific work order I want to execute, and then adding some basic information to it, as well as executing the inspection form tied to it. So I'm going to jump into a list here called My Inspections. These are just result sets in our demo environment. Obviously, when you're logged in to your EZMaxMobile environment, you're going to see result sets that are specific to your user. But once I hit that list, this is how our list view looks out of the box. It's highly configurable, so if you're looking to conditionally highlight a row based on the status or the priority, if you want to show asset description instead of asset number, those are very easy changes to make. They take a matter of seconds, and you deploy those changes on your server, and then all users across all platforms will see those changes automatically. They don't need to download a new app or anything like that because the changes live on your server side. All right, so from here, I'm going to jump into look for a work order. And we have a variety of filtering, searching, or sorting options available from the list view here. In the upper left, you can see I have a quick search bar. That's just expecting free text, so I can type in like a partial match on a word for the description, work order number, asset number. I'll just type in the word fire, and you can see my list is now narrowed down to only work orders that have the word fire in the description. So easy to do a free text search like that. You can sort this list using a sort by drop-down menu in the upper right. Maybe you want to sort by priority, a reported date. You can build that sort very easily. We also have an advanced search button right below those two tools. Clicking on advanced search opens up additional filters. So you can create a very granular search criteria here. Maybe you're looking to find all PM work orders that are scheduled to start in the next 2 weeks that's assigned to the carpentry crew. You could build that criteria right here and search for it automatically. But what I'm going to use is barcode scanning. So you'll notice to the far right of the quick search bar in the upper left of the screen, there's a little barcode scanning icon. We support barcode scanning really in two main ways. One is for searching on information, which is what you're going to see here, but we also support it through data input. So if you're looking to create a new work order and you wanted to scan in data into the asset field, or you're creating a new asset and you wanted to scan in the serial number, we support barcode scanning for data input as well as data searching. So I'm going to hit that button. My device's camera opens up. Hover over a barcode, it scans it very quickly, and now you can see it's only showing me work orders that are written to asset 2243, which is the barcode that I just scanned. Once we've found the work order that we're looking to execute, we just click on it, and that brings us to our details view. I'm just going to rotate my device here. There we go. That brings us to our details view for this work order. So just to break down the UI really briefly for you, on the left-hand side, those are actions. That's our action menu, right? So things that you're doing to the work order, like starting a timer, changing the status, viewing, adding attachments, doing work logs, etc. Those are on the left. On the right are the different data elements that are related to the work order. So things like your work order number, description, status, those are all on the right-hand side. And our UI, as I mentioned before, is both responsive and dynamic. When I say responsive, I mean we're evaluating the form factor. So if I logged in on a phone-sized device, a split screen wouldn't really make sense here. So we'll automatically recognize that through our software, through the responsive UI nature of our software, and we'll hide that action menu and just kind of slide it into the left as if it was a filing cabinet drawer, and a ellipses button would appear at the top of the screen. Clicking on that ellipses would pull that action menu out so you could very easily see it. And our UI, as I mentioned, is also dynamic, and what I mean by that is every section header, and which is fully configurable, every section header is collapsible, right? So if I want to, as a user, I don't want to look at my details, I just want to look at scheduling info and responsibility, I have that option as a user to hide or show information on the page, and that applies everywhere throughout the app, whether it's the action menu or the details view, you've got that capability. All right, so I'm on my work order here. One of the first things I might want to do is hit my green start timer button in the upper left. What that does is it starts a timer in the background, and you can also configure these actions to do multiple things. You'll notice that the status has also been automatically forwarded to in progress. That's a configurable process option that you have. Now I want to get to the inspection here. I know we've only got about 5 minutes, so I want to jump into that inspection form. And for anyone that doesn't know, Maximo inspection forms, it's a very powerful form building and form interactive tool. Basically, you can build a digital representation of almost any paper-based form. You build that in Maximo, and then you can apply it to job plans, PMs, work orders, a route, and apply that route to a work order. There's a lot of different ways that you can apply it. But at the end of the day, you can do a scheduled or unscheduled inspection. And what you're seeing here is a scheduled inspection. I've got a work order and it has a form written to it. And there's an action menu on the left that says inspection. I click on it. It shows me all the inspections tied to the work order. Maybe there's just one, maybe there's many. Whatever the case is, you can then click on any of those forms and execute them. Now, these forms is very powerful. This works online or offline. It's dynamically coming from Maximo. You built the form there. You rolled it out over here. And I'm now going to start answering questions here. We support all the same functionalities of Maximo inspection forms, so making fields or responses required, all the same question types from single response to meter readings to attachments, conditional expressions or conditional formatting. So if I answer a certain question a certain way, maybe I say that my wiper condition is poor, a new question will now appear. It's asking, do you want to replace the wipers? And I'll say yes. And on the left-hand side, you can see I've got section by section and overall form progress. So it's very easy to see where I am in the overall form in terms of my remaining questions. And everything's automatically saving as I do this. Now, my next question here is a visual condition assessment. Take a picture of the vehicle. This is a bucket truck inspection after all, so I'll just use my camera icon. I have a variety of options to get a attachment here. I'll just take a photo on the fly. Nothing very relevant to take a picture of, but you get the idea. You can queue up as many as you'd like. You can also crop, markup, redline these attachments however you want. Maybe you want to add some measurement information. This is 60 inches. You can also add some text. I'll say that we want to replace window, change the size, the color, and move it around. All right, I'm happy with that. We'll go ahead and save that and upload it. And now that uploads directly to that response. And you can see there's a thumbnail of the attachment that I put on that one. Moving on to the next section. These are just more single response questions. The question and the potential responses are listed as radio buttons. The next section here is meter readings. This is allowing you to enter in meter readings for meters that are tied to the work order through the asset or location. We support all the same meter types. We also show meter history information, so you can see the last couple of readings, who took them and when. You can also tie that into condition monitoring points. So if you have specific thresholds in Maximo, in terms of too high, too low values, you can pull that information into this screen as well. And the last section here is just a couple of different question types. The first one here, how many months since the last oil change? That's a numeric field. This is comments or observations. This is a free text field. You can also use voice to text. We support that in any input within our software, online or offline. The next question here is just asking for a date and time. And then lastly, a digital signature. I hit add signature and I can sign like I'm signing for a FedEx package. Right now, everything is still editable, all my responses. I can go back and fill anything, change anything that I'd like. But once I'm satisfied, I hit the green checkbox in the upper right. And that's going to complete the status of that form. And it's also going to make all of my questions or all my responses read only at this point. But I've got everything filled out from my digital signature to my attachments and my picture. And as a user, I might want to create a follow-up for one of those responses based on a failure point or deficiency. On the left-hand side, there's a new action menu once you've completed the form that lets you create a work order. What that does is it shows you all of your questions with all your responses in a checklist format and lets you check off one or many. I'll just say, yeah, when we replace the wiper, I want a follow-up work order to be created for that. I click on that and hit the red save in the upper right. That'll automatically generate a follow-up work order, tie it to the parent work order, and I'm good. As a user, I might want to return to my originating work order. I can stop my timer by hitting that stop timer button in the upper left. I could add a work log here. My timer took care of my labor transactions. I could also add other actuals. If I use tools or materials, I can do those issues right here. We support a lot of the functionality of Maximo right out of the box. Calibration, assignments, multiple assets, locations, failure reporting, meter readings, follow-ups, ownership, workflow. A lot of that is all here right out of the box. As far as this use case is concerned, I'm done with my work order. I want to change the status. I want to change it to field work complete. Say OK. This is asking for a e-signature. So we do support the e-signature functionality of Maximo. And we will hit OK. And that's going to validate that my signature, my username and password were accurate, and then it'll complete that status change. And now I'm done, and I can use the Go To menu in the upper right to go back to my Start Center and pick up more work that might have been built up in my queue. So that's all I had planned to demo here. I think that's everything for the 15-minute demo. Happy to take any questions here, but that was all the time that we had allotted.
I was going to say, Zach, if there's any questions, people can send them to sales@interprosoft.com, and we're happy to get back to you.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for your time. Appreciate it. Take care.